What's up everyone, it's Kovarks here, back on the Kovarks Sports channel, and today we're going to be giving you our 2022 predictions for the Texas A&M Aggies and Tennessee Volunteers. A couple of SEC teams today. We're going to start out with Texas A&M. This team had that legendary recruiting class that had nothing to do with NIL money at all. We've got tons of 5- and 4-star recruits. The future is looking bright for the Aggies. Jimbo Fisher has them heading in the right direction. However, the issue with having this loaded recruiting class is they're all freshmen. You're not going to have a lot of experience. And so, a lot of people are saying they're going to have a big breakout year this year. I'm not so sure about that. I think that in a couple years, yeah, they'll have a great shot to make the playoff. But this year, I'm not so sure. They do have Haynes King. We didn't see a whole lot from him, because he got injured, I believe, last year. So we'll see what happens with him at the starter. They do retain Anai Smith at wide receiver. Overall, there should be a solid team, but I'm not quite so sure if they're going to be able to win, the SEC West or do anything crazy this year. So looking at the schedule, they start out with Sam Houston State and App State. Two decent teams. Sam Houston State, they're moving to the FBS. App State, they're a well-known group of 5 team that's fairly good, but I'm not so sure if either of them can go to College Station and actually win. So I'm going to give them those 2 wins. I also think they beat Miami, Florida. A lot of people are really hyping this Miami team up, but Texas A&M's playing at home. Miami, they may have experience, but it's a brand new coaching staff, which I think will kind of even it out. I think home field advantage is enough. I think this game will be close, but Texas A&M will be able to get it done. I also think they beat Arkansas and Arlington. Last year, I don't think they were ready for that one. Arkansas, they came out of nowhere, surprised a lot of people, and showed up as a very solid SEC West team. They moved out of the basement of that division. So I think Arkansas, they'll be good. This will be a really, really great game, but I think Texas A&M is able to get revenge in this one, improving to 4-0. Then you've got a difficult stretch. You've got Mississippi State on the road, a team that's given them troubles recently, right before Alabama. I think that is just the perfect, upset alert, trap game. They've had issues with Mississippi State before. Of course, they lost by 4, 26-22 last year before the Alabama game. It's on the road this time. Mississippi State's going to be a solid team. I think this is a great opportunity for a trap game, and I think they lose that one. I think they also lose to Alabama. People are hyping this game up, but I think in classic Alabama fashion, they're going to be angry. They lost last year to this team, of course, all the offseason stuff. I think they go into this game and destroy Texas A&M. Maybe it's close for a quarter or two, but the final score will look pretty ugly. And so I have Texas A&M falling to 4-2. They get a bye, but the bad news is they play on the road at South Carolina, who also gets a bye going into that one. I think the inexperience of this team starts to show. They're starting to wear down. They're, pretty upset after those back-to-back losses, and I think it happens again. You've got South Carolina, a decent team, playing on the road. I think this is just another perfect opportunity for a loss. So all of a sudden, you've got 3 big losses in a row, but I think they're able to rebound. You've got Ole Miss and Florida, 2 decent SEC teams. Ole Miss, they lose Matt Corral. Florida, a new coaching staff. You get them both at home, though. I think this is where they start to turn the corner. The team, they start to find a rhythm. They're, heading in the right direction. I think they win both of those and improve to 6-3. They get back on the right track. They play Auburn next. Auburn and Texas A&M have had some great games recently, but I think this is at the end of the season in November. The team, they're starting to get used to each other. They're starting to get used to this SEC schedule, and these final games are easier compared to that stretch where you have Mississippi State and Alabama and South Carolina on the road, as well as Miami and Arkansas. on a home field and neutral field, respectively. I think they're able to get this one done. It'll be close. It'll be a classic like all the other games. They should also be able to beat UMass. And then I think they get revenge over LSU. They beat their rival. And I think they end the season with a 5-game winning streak. They get back on track. And they go 9-3 in 2022. Next up, we have the Tennessee Volunteers. This team went 7-6 last year, but they're heading in the right direction. It looks like Josh Heupel, he's got them in a good position. They've got an amazing quarterback in Hendon Hooker. He threw for 31 touchdowns last year and only three interceptions. They've got a great wide receiver in Cedric Tillman. The defense should be getting better. Overall, this looks like a really appealing team that could make a splash in the SEC and get some big wins. Looking at the schedule here, they start out with Ball State. I think this one should be a pretty easy win. Ball State, they're a middle-of-the-road MAC team, so I think it is on a Thursday night, but I don't think they have any issues in this one. Tennessee rolls. Then they play at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, they lose Kenny Pickett. He was the life of that program. They, of course, beat Tennessee on the road last year. I think Tennessee's going to want revenge. Pittsburgh still trying to figure things out. They lose Jordan Addison as well. Kean Slovis, is he going to be able to get it done? I think he'll be a good quarterback, but I think it'll take some getting used to. So I think Tennessee is able to go on the road and get a big revenge win. I think they also are able to beat Akron. That should be an easy win. So they start the season 3-0. Next up, you've got Florida. This should be a fairly difficult game, but it's early in the season. Florida with a new coaching staff, I think playing at home. Tennessee will be able to get the win. It'll be close, but I think they are indeed able to get it done. They finally get over the hump. They beat Florida. I think it'll be a good one. You get a bye week before playing LSU. I think that's a great time for a bye week. Maybe that will, balance out the fact that you're playing on the road at Death Valley, an extremely tough place to play. LSU, they have a new coaching staff. I think this will be a close game. Hard fought, comes down to the wire, but I think the home field advantage gets it done. Don't get too hungover on the individual games. Focus on that record. Because I went back and forth on whether to predict this LSU game to be a loss or the Pittsburgh game. But I think the fact that this one is towards the middle of the season and it's right before Alabama, I think that all results in Tennessee's first loss of the season. They get Alabama next, like I just said. It's at home, but I think Alabama's too good. I think it's close. Tennessee's one of the teams where, since they play up at home, they could beat them this year, but I don't think they can. They've got that tough game against LSU before, so I think they're able to take care of business. I think Alabama is able to take care of business, and they win in Knoxville. But UT Martin's next. That should be an easy win, so they improve to 5-2 after that 2-game losing skid. Then they've got Kentucky. Kentucky, they're like Pittsburgh. They're going to run the ball. They're starting to throw it more too, though. They've got a good defense. I think the key to this one, though, is that it's a home game for Tennessee. UT Martin doesn't really count as a bounce-back win, but I think this does, so they're able to get the win over the Wildcats. Then you've got Georgia on the road. If this was at home, I may predict it to be a Tennessee win because Georgia, they luck out. They've got games like this at home. They lose a fair amount, so I'm not quite sure if they'd be able to win in Knoxville. However, that is a very tough place to play, and I think there is enough on Georgia's roster. The defense did lose a lot, but they're still going to be a very good team, and I think they're able to beat Tennessee, and they fall to 6-3. Next up, you've got Missouri. Missouri, they should be an alright team, but in the SEC, I think they're going to struggle. If they're in a different conference, maybe they'd be, a little bit better, but playing on the road, I think Tennessee gets back on track with a win there. Then you've got South Carolina, a hungry South Carolina team late in the season on the road, very tough place to play like a lot of these SEC stadiums are. I think the Gamecocks will be looking for a big win, just like they had against Texas A&M. I think they're able to get 2 of them this season. They've got a fairly difficult schedule, but I think they will be able to capitalize on this opportunity at home. and I think they're able to win, but Tennessee should be able to beat Vanderbilt, even though it's a rivalry game on the road. I don't see Clark Lee being able to get a conference win this year, so I've got them going 8-4 in 2022. What do you guys think about Tennessee and Texas A&M, two SEC teams? Do you think they'll do better than the records I have here? Do you think they'll do worse? Who do you have them losing to? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe as we continue our 2022 college football predictions as we head into the regular season. I want to thank you all very much for watching once again, and I'll see you all next time. Take care. Bye.